You're going to want a cuppa for this one, or maybe something stronger. I thought you might like to join me in reading through some submission guidelines from an agency and rating some of them on a scale of 1 to diabolical. First, I want to give a shout out to a creator called Joseph James who made a TikTok about this, which is where I came across these guidelines. And upon finding them myself and reading through them in full, I had to add my 2 cents. Now, before you ask, I'm not going to be naming this agency. I do have to be mindful of the fact that I have a platform. I don't want to be accused of inciting a pile-on. That being said, these guidelines are public. They aren't that hard to find. And I sent these to a couple agent friends who said they've actually seen them before and they've been around for years while they have been updated. So this agency are saying these with their full chest. And you know what? Fair play to you. You've got clients, you have a business that you've been running for many years, you're clearly happy having these guidelines forward facing, and so I'm sure you don't mind people talking about them. So that being said, so we actually start off quite fair with an honest look at the industry landscape right now. Where we do get a hint of what's to come is the other 1% we turn down because they are idiots. Nice. So here's our rating system. We've got, okay, sure, to diabolical. And let's start with this one here. Please do not write the same message to every email address you can find for us. There is no point. That's an okay fair. You look like an idiot and it drives us nuts. Now we're getting more into the diabolical territory. And this is already one of my favorites. Please do not bother with a lot of hollow flattery about how wonderful we are. We already know. We also hope you have not been following us for years. That is what stalkers do. I mean, talk about saying the quiet part out loud. I mean, the reason I'm making this is just because just think about if the tables were turned and actors spoke this way about agents. Like, I just think this is a perfect example of what I speak about when I talk about the hierarchy of power within this industry. Accusing actors of being stalkers for following you, your clients, and the work that you're doing, I'm going to go for 7 out of 10 diabolical. Now, this next one, I'm going to give it to them before we get into the good stuff, because I think it's something that probably a lot of agents wish they could say. They recommend keeping a spreadsheet of who you've written to and when. Perhaps not entirely necessary to follow up with that if you write to them more than once in the same month, you're showing them that you're not focused on what you're doing and not client material. So, dear all agents, to whom it may concern, or just hi, does not warm us to you. Our names are at the bottom of this page. We would not write back to dear all applicants as it would be rude. So you are mindful of being rude. Let's keep that in mind moving forward. Please do not describe yourself as bubbly. That generally means a fluffy/irritating pea brain who thinks they are appealing when they are not. Grr. 8 out of 10 diabolical. Statistically, it is unlikely agents will be queuing up to meet you. Harsh but true. Clearly, I am doing you a favor writing to you. I am the greatest thing since the invention of the fitted sheet, or I am taking agent meetings next Wednesday is not an endearing approach. First of all, show me any email you have got from an actor that is saying, I am the greatest thing since the invention of the fitted sheet. Now, I have heard some really ridiculous things that some actors do write to agents, but this, come on, I'm going to go with 5 out of 10. Check your junk mail. Several applicants have missed invites to meet us because we end up in their spam folder. How dopey is that? I'm going to go for another 5 just because we've got room to go. If we write to you and you take 3 days to reply to us, that does not send us very good signals about your efficiency standards. But it's totally fine for agents to just not reply at all if they aren't interested in us. 8 out of 10. There are about 90,000 actors registered with Spotlight. More than 10,000 do not have agents at all. It's a lot more than that now. Additionally, a significant number of those represented are looking to change agents, and they all write all the time. Thanks for the reminder, I guess. 6 out of 10. Got some agent on agent beef on the next one. We are happy for our clients to have voiceover agents, but we would want to be exclusive for everything else. No agent worth having is going to let another agent have the easy money earner of commercials while they slog away at TV, film and stage. And here we go. Finally, trying to be kind and helpful here, we welcome and already represent several clients who do not fall into the stereotypical actor type. Great. However, virtually everyone who writes to us now describes themselves as neurodiverse. That honestly is welcome, but do be aware it is generally not a casting opportunity bonus. To be blunt, Casting directors want things an audience can see for themselves, which generally neurodiverse isn't. So be proud of it, but do not think doors are going to fly open because of it. Hope you understand. Now, if you've got 3 ears or are 8 foot tall, you really are talking about standing out. 10 out of 10, diabolical! As a neurodivergent actor myself, I could make a whole video about this point alone, but to write that and post that? Diabolical. Here we have them saying the quiet part out loud again. We are happy to hear from new applicants. However, we are seeking only the highest caliber, experienced actors and actresses with strong CVs, which must match their age. Now, what I gather from that is if you're an older actor, you have to have a substantial CV that matches how many years you should have been doing this professionally, which just seems incredibly out of touch with like the reality of an actor's experience and career. Applicants must have TV theatre credits from at least 2022 and 2023 and be current members of Spotlight. 2 things about this. One is I think this is incredibly unfair to stipulate, considering this industry has been ruined by the pandemic, the strikes, the fires in the US, the administration in the US, the cost of living crisis, Brexit. Like, they start off their submission guidelines by talking about how difficult the industry is right now, but then follow up by saying that you have to have credits from at least this year. And also, FYI, it's actually unlawful for agents to require you to be on Spotlight. As per the legislation from the Employment Agency Standards Inspectorate, it very clearly states that talent agencies cannot charge any fees or paid for services in order to be represented or considered for representation. This includes Spotlight, and I have spoken to agents who are part of organizations that uphold good practice about this, and they have confirmed if an agent is saying you must be a member of Spotlight to be part of their agency, that is considered unlawful. And I'm going to give a bonus diabolical point for finishing off these guidelines with a term that is considered ableist. They're talking about the spelling of a word in their agency name. Please note, several applicants have their emails to us bounce because they're spelling the word blank incorrectly. Dumb, eh? So those were just a few of the guidelines. And look, I do have a lot of agent friends, and some of the best people I know are agents. And I have very illuminating conversations about the frustrations they have with how some actors reach out to agencies. But this is just on another level. And as I said, maybe these guidelines are working for them in a way because they still have actors that they represent and I presume submit to them. Oh, and they're also a member of the PMA. But what I will say is this, actors, when looking for representation, it's a 2-way street. If you come across a website or you meet with agents and something about them as people just gives you the ick or doesn't feel right, or you think, I don't really want these humans representing me, then don't submit to them, don't sign with them. This sort of condescending tone from agents happens because they know that they can, because of the hierarchy of power, because we, the actors, put agents on pedestals. It's time to take our power back. We don't need to put up with this treatment just because there's 100,000 of us and just a couple hundred of them. I really think this industry would benefit from a more human-first approach, just viewing each other as human beings, each doing our creative work, instead of wondering what we can get from each other, which perpetuates this hierarchy that allows for things like this to go ahead unchallenged. Make sure you're following the 98% for more honest chat about the acting industry and to make sure that you don't feel alone while navigating this crazy profession.